the public relations program that enlightens, educates, and puts you in proper perspective on how to engender peace, progress, and unity in the nation. Not only in Nigeria, we are also looking at peace surrounding the world, ensuring that there's progress and stability. This week, I still have my guests seated here, and let me also quickly introduce OLALEKAN SOTUNDE. He's a researcher, a strategist, and also a planning officer in the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
I also have Dr. KOLAWOLE. Is the director of Suez in Moshood Abiola Polytechnic. You are welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
And our living legend, EDDY, AINA, always happy to be with us. And we are also happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. This week, we are continuing Russian-Ukraine war. Any public relations solution. When we are talking of public relations solution, we are also looking at international diplomacy. We are looking at how United Nations could mediate, how European nations could also mediate. How can the bold one be softened? How can the aggressor be pacified? From your understanding of what is happening in Ukraine, how will you justify the damage that has happened?
Well, I think emphasis should not just be laid on the damage. The basis, the genesis should be put into perspective so that one will not get unnecessarily emotional about the issues involved. It is a war of interest between two powerful nations who wants more allies and are more interested in their interests over and above that of every other nation. So
powerful nations,
I'm talking about United States of America and Russia.
okay,
The issues have been on ground since the downfall of the Soviet Republic. We all understand that. Let us not go into that. But the issue is this: Russia has been more interested in what happens in Ukraine in the last 5 years because of the role of United States in persuading Ukraine to join North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Russia is of the opinion that joining NATO will endanger the interest and security of Russia. Therefore, Ukraine should be persuaded not to join. Successfully, Putin was able to do that when the former US president was there. What's the name of this Republican man? Donald Trump. So Trump vetoed. You all remember that Trump vetoed it and it wasn't allowed to be. But today, the story is different. The current government led by the Democratic Party wants that done. So Putin does not want it to be. So when we talk about damage, coming back to the question you asked, one will understand that it is not fair to be emotional because similar threat was taken when Cuba wanted to become Russian ally. Though they did not go, US did not go this far. There were sanctions on Cuba, you will recollect, for attempting to be an ally of Russia. What am I saying? Russia got to this point because of its security situation. Membership of NATO of Ukraine will endanger the security and peace, the relative peace that Putin is enjoying. So having that in mind, one will still say there is no justification for the present aggression, considering the fact that we are talking about lives of human beings. So it is crime against humanity. We all condemn it. It is not justifiable. It cannot be hidden under any disguise. That is the truth, and it has to be laid bare.
Let me quickly ask you, is invasion the final solution?
It shouldn't be, but considering the proximity of Ukraine to Russia, it can be. It can be, considering the issues on ground. it is obvious that the present president of Ukraine will not dance to the tune of Russia. You correct that 3 or 4 years ago that the then president was removed, was pressurized out of office because of his perceived unholy alliance with Putin. US persuaded, it was alleged then that US persuaded the people of Ukraine to reject the man, and he left office. He was forced out of office. Now, Putin understands much more than any other person that Zelensky, who is the president of Ukraine today, is much more interested in joining NATO than any other thing. After all, he is aware that there will be support. The supposed invasion we are talking about today, for me, like it is said in this part of the world, Tili Obabajo Ewa lo ma n bù sí. At the end of the day, we'll see how it goes. For me, it is not justifiable, it is condemnable, but then it is unavoidable.
If it is not justifiable, again, if it is not justifiable, then why should the last resort be the first action?
Well, it depends on who is looking at it, whether it is justifiable or not. From the Russian
is that no reasonable
Putin perspective, it is justifiable.
Exactly.
But from the NATO, Biden, American perspective, the war is not justifiable because they believe and they argue, vehemently, that Putin has been trampling on the sovereignty, that it is barbaric, to just take war into a particular country. It has sovereignty, there's democracy there, and that the world does not even encourage, the world encourages peace. So for them, it's not justifiable. But from those of us who are looking at it from the perspective of, from a far away angle, I mean, although we are able to read and know what is going on there, but we still believe that, just like my brother said, I mean, war is not justifiable in any sense at all. So because there are the human loss of life. In fact, to date, so many people have lost their lives, unnecessarily, even at both sides. Although we may not even know the number of people that have died, until maybe when they take statistics. But for now, what we are seeing, the damage being done, to Ukraine and even Russian missiles and engines and what have you. It's just not, because they are going to replace, although Europe is trying to get some money, to Ukraine and all that.
Thank you very much. If I really want to illustrate, I can then say that Nigeria should have been in this position. The relationship with the Benin Republic, its relationship with Cameroon, and the like.
No, you want us to go into a different area entirely. You see, a giant of Africa, although some people will even argue that at the moment, you see, we are not controlling our environment in Nigeria. Else, countries like Benin Republic, Togo, Cameroon. I mean, if we don't have spendthrifts, people who waste our money, people who are not patriotic as our leaders in this country, we will not be where we are today. Because you can imagine the trillions of dollars that we have wasted in this country, that should have been used to develop, to make ourselves, the big brother that we are supposed to be. We are no more big brothers. I mean, if you look at, even in terms of armament, Egypt is better off, Morocco is better off, Algeria, South Africa. So what are we talking about? Whereas before, I mean, we were there. I mean, there was a time we were boasting that, yes, the problem with Nigeria is not money, but how to spend it, and see how they have granted virtually everything. Read what Kuka said some 3 days ago. So yes, ordinarily we ought to have taken care of our environment so that to surprise all the others, to say, okay, you cannot look Nigeria in the face. Even see how we lost the Bakassi Peninsula and all that. America will not allow that because they have controlled their environment. So it's a different thing entirely, but it's not justified, whichever way you want to look at it. You can still use peace, and that's why we are here this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amos. I'm looking at the economic loss and the human loss. How do you think Ukraine can be alive again?
Well, it depends on the level of assistance that the West and America will be willing to render. Because when you look at the level of devastation so far, and it has just started, he keeps pressing on. He's not going to stop. That's the truth. So when you look at the level of devastation, billions of dollars will be required to rehabilitate a lot of these people. Where do they get that money from? Except assistance from the West and from America. So for me, it is better not to go to war.
Already they are in
Than
the
to
war
start
season
war.
now.
So they are in there, and only God knows when this will end. Another thing is, even if Putin is able to subdue Zelensky today, there will still be some level of uprising.
Oh, sure.
From the south, from the west. So this is not going to end. Lives will become more shattered. And so the only thing, I think the best way to go about it is for, I'm particularly happy that France is beginning to play that role. Macron has called him about 3 times.
Even the Israeli Prime Minister.
Israeli Prime Minister, he has done that too. And China too is willing to come in.
Even talking.
They've been talking. Let them keep talking. See, my brother has actually said it. It's about their interests. It's about the American expansionist tendencies.
Sure.
That's the truth. So if he doesn't feel safe, and what he needs now is certain level of guarantee that, look, we are going to concede this, put a stop. If they are willing to do that, let America know that it is not the right time now for Ukraine to join NATO.
Well, of course, it may not be the right time, but I learned that there is freedom of association, freedom of...
I think I want to disagree on that.
Okay.
You see, the issues are not well understood.
Okay.
And like I said, until issues like this are put in the right perspective,
So
it is beyond.
how do we put it in the right perspective?
Thank you, sir. The issue on ground is beyond Russia and United States. I told a friend over the weekend, it is about global peace and security. Putin is selling the agenda of Russia because he is afraid of American interests being spread, isn't it?
That's it.
Now, I told a friend, if you are to pick between Russia and America, whose interest will you prefer? You prefer to spread. The issue is, if America spread its interest, it is beyond America. Because America is like a home to all global citizens.
Sure.
Look, somebody like Putin has tendency of remaining in power for the next 20 years. And he will pursue the agenda that the Soviet Republic lost the other time. Let me remind all of you, none of us is a child here. Consider the issues that led to the fall of the Soviet Republic. You will see that that is what Putin is trying to bring up. Today, do we have any opposition party in Russia? All those who have attempted to take power from him died mysteriously. You and I are aware. There is no point mentioning names again. You are aware. 2, I asked a friend, can a black man become Russian president? Go to America. Relatively, an average Nigerian citizen who wants to live legitimately will still have his way once you don't go into crime. Even those who enter illegally still find a way of staying beyond their visa. What am I saying? When you say American interest, it is beyond America. It's about the globe. If you go to American army, you see Nigerians, you see Africans, you see Cameroonians. Why? Because the issue is beyond America. Somebody said it is because they engage people from other climes because it will be easy for them to invade your country. I said that may be it. But if they are not able to do that, those that are engaged will benefit and will bring back resources to their country. What am I saying? In whose interest will an average global citizen protect out of the two? America has more allies, has more interest than that of Russia. If America is liberal to the extent that it is today, then as Nigerian, I will not support our policy of neutrality, our policy of non-alignment. That's a topic for another day. For me, it is beyond the interest of the two of them. We are talking about interest of the globe. In whose hand can we successfully or reliably say we put global security? Can we put it in the hand of Putin? Can we put it in the hand of Biden? We have a choice. So if America say, I want to have a base through NATO in Ukraine, it is not really because America is interested in invading Russia, but America is interested in checking Russia and its allies.
Again, there's a challenge here. We are seeing that the closed systems are opening up.
Yes, in fact, I was about to chip that in.
Okay.
Even if you look at Russia itself, you look at Russia, China, all these communist attempts, they have dropped them virtually, yes, because there are about over 100 millionaires, in US, in Russia, even in China. They are opening up because the world does not encourage this closed system again. And the world is a global village, even in terms of economy, and that's the reason why it's hurting them now. Because so many people are insisting that even those who are doing business in Russia are saying, sanctioning Russia. So, but it's raised the question, which is, if we go into it now, we may not turn. But it believes, that the interest of America, yes, America is larger, is bigger in terms of, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's not an American. He's, he emigrated to that place, and so many other people. Exactly. In fact, so many there are Nigerians who are holding positions in America, which may not be in Russia, which hasn't even been in Russia. So, yes, if there is a debate or if there is a vote, Russians, the Americans will have it. But if we are looking for peace, really, I think we have to use the auspices of United Nations. United Nations has so many bodies, and so many people that can put pressure. Because the way it is now, it appears the man is going, Putin is going haywire. But I know NATO will do a lot, to halt it. Because on day, I listened to Biden yesterday. He said, yes, he has been bombing, he has been doing this, but he said Ukraine will not be Russia's asset. It will not be something that he can, hold and be proud and say, yes, I've done it for Ukraine, because it's not easy. It's not even Ukraine alone that is fighting now. If you see the amount of people who are, even Netherlands, Sweden, yes, those countries are, Japan that ordinarily Japan doesn't interfere when it comes to war, is sending things there. So I'm sure the magnitude of support, for Ukraine at a point in time, if it continues like this, the world will have a way of.
Is the support not passive?
No, it's not passive. It's under, we are talking of NATO. It's not Atlantic Treaty Organization. They have a way of doing things. They are going gradually. As at the last thing that I read, even Biden is sending troops, to areas, NATO areas in that, and he cannot stop them. And so before you know it, I hope they have a way of stopping. But like you rightly said, China can talk to him, Iran can talk to him, those are his friends. Saudi Arabia can talk to him, because already Biden has even sent an emissary, to Saudi Arabia to say, okay, yes, can you give us more, can you produce more oil? And Nigeria that can do it. The OPEC quota that gave Nigeria is 1.87. We have not even been able to meet it. When we don't even have, so it's sad. But Saudi Arabia is saying, yes, we can do it, but we won't do it because Russia is an OPEC member. I won't want to do that. So I'm sure all these countries, OPEC countries, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and all the rest of them will be able to put pressure on him at a point in time, to tell him, look, the world is against it, please stop it. We are talking in terms of.
Sotunde,
yes, sir.
Are we expecting recession? Global recession?
Sure. It is here as a result of the war.
And COVID-19 actually did a lot, so it's not even the war per se now. But COVID-19 has taken a lot of chunk out of it.
And then when we're not having
this war,
we add to it. I mean, like
for instance, I'm aware that
it's already having
the global supply of wheat.
Yes.
The global supply of wheat will be affected.
Sure.
In fact, Ukraine and Russia produce close to 69% of
yes,
global wheat consumption.
Yes,
that is one. And you will agree with me that it is even needed in the industrial sector more than the normal consumption that we do. So that is that. But then, I don't know if we are aware that the Russian currency has lost up to 70% of its value in the last 1 week.
It's deliberate.
Exactly.
to weaken the economy.
That's
all the allies of Putin have been troubled, including the famous Abramovich, the owner of Chelsea.
Yeah, of course.
I was still listening to one of the international media,
the
specifically Al Jazeera today,
Yes,
where he was pressurized
Britain has taken
and given deadline. Specifically today, they gave him deadline that all his assets across Europe will be taken. What are we saying? We are saying that an average person who is either a Russian or Ukrainian will be affected across Europe, because countries are now polarized along the interest. European countries are monitoring all US or European countries who are loyal to Putin are taking their stand. I'm surprised that Belarus is doing this, what they are doing presently. I never believe Belarus will support Putin.
Belarus,
has always been his ally.
In terms of character, they are characters, you know.
I thought the European Union would have influenced, you know, most of the decisions are taken at European Parliament, and it has a way of rubbing on them. Once a decision is taken at European parliamentary level, it is believed that across the continent they will comply. But I'm surprised. Yes, that of Crimea is a small issue. Naturally, one would expect that, you know. But then the economy, it will be battered. Even in the United Kingdom today, things are not the way they are supposed to be.
It's affecting
Thank you
Nigeria.
very much.
It's affecting Nigeria too.
Dr. Amos.
Yeah, it's
Of what effect is the seizure of assets of the oligarchs?
Well, I think it's right step in the right direction.
Sure.
Now, because after the disintegration of the Soviet Union, these were the people who shared the assets, and they became millionaires overnight. They are the ones who have been behind Putin, and now that they are stripped of their wealth, it is most likely.
Has it really happened?
It is happening. It is happening very seriously. And so, with that, I think they will call themselves to order to say, man, we have lost a lot and we can't afford to continue with this.
Well, when you look at the media, I want to assess the media so far. The news we've been gathering has been through Sky News, CNN, and they are Western. They are pro-West.
Fox, yes, of course.
Yeah. So, why are we not having access to Russian news, the other channels, and all that? Why are we not having access to it?
There are a few of them.
They do.
We have access to Al Jazeera.
Al
Jazeera
is not even.
It's Middle East.
Relatively neutral.
Why I'm saying that is that I've not been seeing balanced reporting.
No, but Putin doesn't want to allow it at all. He doesn't want his people to know what is happening.
He doesn't want it covered.
He has also decreed that anyone who produces any rumor or false information will be jailed for, I think, 15 years or whatever.
And you will recall that his people are already protesting.
Opposition.
So he doesn't want that to become open to them.
You see what he did to Navani? He's in jail. You know, the opposition.
Even the basketball star.
Yeah, so it's.
Well, we are looking at peace. How do we now, in the midst of war, how do we now sustain peace?
In the midst of war, well, two ways to look at it. I mean, you can use war to sustain peace. I mean, yes. I mean, when people fight, at a point in time, if the whole lot of them now decide to say, okay, enough is enough, and they mass around, you can stop it. But I think it's diplomacy that will work this time around.
Thank you very much. Your last shot, Dr. Amos.
Well, let the whole world know that violence doesn't lead us anywhere. It doesn't pay. Let the whole world come together and get it resolved. I was saying the other time that if you have a megalomaniac in your family and you know the level of destruction it can cause, you call him and pacify him. Let the whole world find a way of pacifying
Your
him.
last shot, briefly.
Yes, I will not support aggression, and I condemn it in its entirety. I expect that the talks that are started will bring results. I'm aware one is going on in Turkey, there's another one in France, and I hope it works.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If we don't end war, war will end us. It is on that note that we are closing this discussion, and I'd like to appreciate EDDY,
Thank you for
living legend. You have been a mentor, and we always love to have you around.
Thanks.
Dr. Amos, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
We hope you'll be a regular face here.
Thank you very much.
And OLALEKAN today, it's nice having you.
Thank you very much. It's
God
a
bless
pleasure.
you. Viewers, this is where we're going to end this program. It is your image, the flagship public relations program. Thank you so much. Until next week, when we bring you another topic, I say bye.